Lovelies, a pleasant evening to you, or after, well, it's 2 minutes to evening. Good evening to everybody. So beautiful people. Let me pull this thing a little closer. I was listening to the news, but it was a little bit faint this morning. Something to do with the Ministry of Finance and the public sector workers. So I said, let me go online and look for the article, because once it's on the, the news media, on the television, I know that it would be online as well. And it is indeed online. Ministry of Finance and the Public Service. And I'm seeing here, this is dated April 1, 2 days ago. An advancement along substantive salary bands effective April 1, 2025. And it says, consequent on the agreement reached with the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions, JCTU, regarding certain items flowing from the restructured compensation for the public sector, approval is granted for the advancement of applicable employees along their respective substantive salary bands effective April 1, 2025, as detailed below. So it says employees who were in service prior to March 31, 2022, and who remain in service beyond March 31, 2025, to advance 3 incremental points along their substantive salary bands. Good. I wouldn't say grandiose, but that's good. That's good. Employees who do not fall in category 1 above but were in service as of April 1, 2023 and remain in service beyond March 31, 2025 to advance 2 incremental points along their substantive salary bands. I think that is actually good. Funny enough, it sounds better than the ones who are, than the one prior in terms of category 1. Because category 1, it says prior to March 31, 2022. They could be there, 2020, 2017, 2016. You understand what I'm saying? But it says prior, the second one says, and it's only 3, incremental points, while those who are within the 2-year bandwidth would be 2 incremental. So the second one sounds better if you look at it in totality, because it's over 2-year bandwidth. So you can be there for 2 years versus somebody who has been there for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. They only get 3. So you see the disparity between the two. So, but, all in all, not bad. It's good. So employees who do not fall in either category 1 or category 2 above, but were in service as of April 1, 2024, and remain in service beyond March 31, 2025 to advance 1 incremental point along their substantive salary bands. That's actually good. As I said, I wouldn't say grandiose. I wouldn't say great. The category 1, perhaps maybe it could have broken down in four areas or 4 quadrants, meaning, factor in those who may have been in service for 5 years or more to maybe go 4 incremental points, and then under 5 years, a little under 5 years, 3, 2 years, 2, 1 year, 1, if you understand what I mean. Then that would have been even better. But, I suppose we have to give thanks for small mercies. It may not have happened, but, we are seeing a little growth here. It said the following are to be noted. Advancement along the substantive salary band on this occasion is not dependent on performance reviews and is applicable to temporary employees engaged in permanent positions, as well as persons engaged on contract against established posts who are being paid in the applicable salary band. So everybody benefits, basically. Whether, your performance is up to scratch or not necessarily up to scratch, everybody's benefiting. Where advancement along the salary band results in employees being placed outside the maximum of the band's applicable salary scales, the amounts outside the scales are to be converted to and paid as special pensionable allowances to the affected employees. These special pensionable allowances are to be taken into account in the event the affected employees' posts are upgraded or where the affected employees are promoted to a higher level. I hope I will, you know what would be very good as I see the word promotion. I want that word to become a mainstay. I want it to become like, when you talk about a household name, where you see like a plethora of solid, good, hard-working, long-standing employees properly promoted. When we talk about promotion, we talk about accelerated promotion. That is what I would love to see across, especially within the Civil Service Association and so on. And I mean within the public sector in and of itself, and definitely private sector. We can't leave them out. The standard rules govern special pensionable allowances are to be observed. All right, so it goes into, it says payment in respect of the advancement along the substantive salary bands will commence during the first quarter of the fiscal year 2025-2026. So the first quarter is what? April, May, June. So within the 3 months, you will see the changes and increase. It says, in case of doubt or difficulty, the Compensation Unit Strategic Human Resource Management Division of this ministry should be contacted for clarification or advice before any action is taken. Well, Ministry of Finance, I would say good job. Fair to good. As I said, if, for me, I was just thinking that those who may be, since you have for this category 2 over a 2-year period, because it says before April 1, 2023 to April, and still there after March 31, 2025, they get 2 incremental points. Those in category 1 before April 1, 2022, something like that, or March 2022, but 2022, the closing to the beginning of the new ending to the beginning of the new financial year to the present, which is March, where we're now in April, but it would, the closing of the financial year would be March 31, 2025, 3 incremental points. I figure that could have been broken down a little bit more to factor in those who may be there 5 years or more, so they can get 4 points. Maybe 4 to 3 years, 3 points, or 3 to 4 years, 3 to 4 years rather, 3 points, 2 years, 2 points, 1 year, 1 point. That's the only thing I would say could have happened. A little change to break it out so that at least tenure, like serious tenure would have really been taken into consideration, so that you don't bunch everyone in one pot, if you understand, because there must be some level of demarcation. There has to be, let me make another comparison. For example, if somebody is a CEO versus somebody who's just a manager, you wouldn't expect that the salary bandwidth to be similar. There has to be a demarcation, or if that is not the case, then might as well we just call everybody in one pot, and you don't have any demarcation in terms of hierarchical structure and positions given. If we're not going to look at it that way, it's not so much that you're trying to show disparity, but there has to be some separation, as it relates to leadership and even tenure. So when they look at it, all components, all areas must be taken into consideration. And in particular, I'm talking about tenure here, since they say performance is not necessarily a component that would be looked at in terms of putting people up, so everyone gets an opportunity to benefit, which in some sense is good, although I still believe in rewarding good, hard, smart work. But at least tenure should be taken into consideration. And it takes a level of loyalty for people to stay after so many years. So, it could have been for me 4, 3, 2, 1, as opposed to 3, 2, 1, But all in all, good move, Ministry of Finance. Good job, Minister of Finance. Guys, to do your TikTok and YouTube. subscribe and give me one of those lions.